Choosing your oncology center. Recently I had a comment on one of my videos, and I think it was at the Cancer Survivor Network area, from a guy who is chagrined because during his experience it was nowhere near the experience I had relative to the team that was treating him. He had mentioned that he was never offered a speech and language therapist. He was never offered somebody to teach him how to rub out his lymphedema. He didn't even know about lymphedema. And it brought to mind this video. And that is, you may or may not have the opportunity to choose your oncology center. Maybe it's an insurance situation, maybe it's a geography situation, I don't really know what it is. But if you get on the Cancer Survivor Network and start reading about some other people's experiences, and if your experience is less than that, or you feel that you're not getting the level of care and treatment from your oncology center that other people are getting, and if you have the opportunity to, I would urge you to look around and see if there are other oncology centers within some reasonable distance for you to travel, because this is huge. I was extremely lucky. And this is not a paid advertisement. I get nothing for this, but I was taken care of by a place called Highlands Oncology Group, HOG, here in Northwest Arkansas, in Rogers, Arkansas. And there's several of them up here. And I cannot say enough good about the treatment I got. I just assumed everybody got this good of treatment. I was a little concerned from reading CSN before I went in, for example. Some people were saying you got to stay on your doctors to get some of the pain medications because they won't just give them to you. Sometimes you got to really tell them. So as I was getting to my second and third week of radiation, I was anticipating some of the pain I'd have week 4 and 5 and on. So I mentioned to my doctor, and I won't mention his name just in case I don't want anything to bounce back at him, or I think he did it. I'm sure he did everything perfect, but it just probably not the venue for that. The guy who took care of me and is still taking care of me, I'll just call him Dr. T. Terrifically impressed with him personally. I went in there that third week and anticipating having to wait 2 or 3 weeks for pain medicine. I just mentioned that I was starting to feel some pain in the back of my throat. And I expected not a fight, but an issue, like prove the pain. I had it all in my mind of what I was going to say, in the conversation in my head. All I did was say I was getting a little bit of pain in the back of my throat. And he just stopped what he was doing, turned to the nurse who was typing at the computer and said, "Give him some liquid morphine." Just like that. Not Advil, not, I don't know, Vicodin or some of those other, we're not going to start at the low end and work our way up to the high end. He said, right then, liquid morphine. Now, to be fair, I didn't even need that for about 3 weeks. And even then, I didn't really care for it. It tastes horrible. Pretty blue color. Tastes horrible. And it creates constipation. Big time. But the point is, the doctor was terrifically proactive. Anything I mentioned, he was on that like white on rice. Immediately looked over to the nurse and told her to do this, 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 and this. Anything I mentioned to him, just like that. I had a very similar experience with the radiation doctor there. The nurses were extremely kind. The reception area, the person who checks me out, the nurses in the chemo area, and I talked in one video about how it hurt my arm and everything. This one nurse who was a phlebotomist before working in that oncology area, she kindly came over and gave me all of my IVs because she was a little more skilled at that than the other ladies. And none of the other nurses minded. She didn't mind. Matter of fact, I was in there just a few weeks ago to get something done. I think my shots, I get B12 shots now. They just tell me to go in and get them. I never asked for them. But I see her there, and she just came over and gave me a big hug. It was, and here I am 8 months post-treatment, and she remembered me. The people at Highlands Oncology were absolutely top-notch. I didn't have to worry about a thing. They set me up with this appointment and that appointment. When I wasn't getting some good nutrition through my tube, they worked with my insurance company and found a place that would bring me this thing stuff called Javita or something like that. For me, it was horrible. It tasted like I was drinking pepper. Yeah, but a special machine to pump it in through my tube, and all these things that they just did for me, so I never had to think about it or work for it or really even ask for it. They were just extremely proactive. The places they sent me, the people they sent me to, the referrals, they took care of insurances, they took care of just everything right down the line. I made a joke, I think, in one of the videos, that they gave me a basket of pills. I mean, before I even had my first chemo, I must have had 7 or 8 prescriptions they had me, and they sat me down and explained what to do with each one of them. You might need this, you might need this, you might need that. To be honest with you, I don't think I took any of them, but I had them. They were here in my house. If I needed them, they were right there on that table you see right behind us over there. And it made the experience, well, nothing makes this experience easy, but it could have been an awful lot more difficult. And if you're experiencing those kind of difficulties, if your doctors if you feel they're not being proactive like that, I would recommend, if you can, if you still have the energy and it's not too late in the process or whatever, see if there's other oncology centers in the area or other people that your insurance company, if you're using insurance, might offer as an option for you. You know, you're not forced into just one oncology center. You're going through enough already. It's hard. Every little thing that makes it more difficult is more difficult. It's amplified. Every email you got to send because something's not right. Every billing issue that might happen that you somehow have to deal with is magnified, and it's so much more than it really is, because there's so much going on in your body and your mind, and the tastes and the tiredness and the confusion and the questions and the fears, and it just takes over. So anytime anybody can make anything easier for you, well, that's the kind of place you want to be, and those are the kind of people you want to deal with. I mean, here I'm 8 months post-treatment, and I still get seen once a month. I go in for a couple shots they give me. Like I said, I never asked for them. I don't even know why I'm getting them. But Dr. T has ordered it. So I go in and get these shots, and then I turn around and leave. And they set me up with a therapist to show me how to do this, to take care of this lymphedema stuff. You deserve the same kind of treatment. I didn't pay any more. I am not royalty or anybody important in my area. I'm not a government official or anything like that. I've got the same treatment everybody else at Highlands Oncology gets, and you deserve the same. Okay? And if you're not, I would urge you to consider, or ask your caretaker, if it's a spouse or a friend or whoever's helping you get through the process, to research that and see if things can be different for you, because it makes a world of difference. And if you don't, it's going to be more difficult than it needs to be. All right? But no matter where you're getting treated, get treated. Do what you need to do. And by all means, never, ever give up. And don't forget about Cancer Survivor Network. That's the place to go to get really good first-hand information, not from medical professionals, but from survivors, and understand our experience, so you can compare your experience to theirs and ours. Until then, have a lovely day, and keep up your good spirits. You'll get through this. It's only 7 or 8 weeks. It's not easy, but you'll make it.